Greetings everyone! I have been busy for this past month because I joined Artfight and I loved it. I love it so much that it flames on the side of my face. For those of you who are not known to Artfight, it is a gifting event with teams accumulating points to get the victory. I got to try it out since I have more than enough free time, and it was taxing a bit on energy, yet the end result is absolutely worthwhile. So let us get into the chase of every single attack, friendly fire and revenges of my own. I am not intended to show the defenses category, but I really appreciate every single attack which I have received. Altogether, I also do not want to share their art, but you can view their ads. They are so great, and I wanted to thank everyone for the gifts. So I stick onto 3 different formats this year: portraits, full body renders, and illustrations. The portraits tend to be either animated or static. Usually I get so invested into the illustrations, yet in many cases animated portraits are so time bound. Anyways, let us get started because we have 31 artworks to go through. That's a lot. So the first one is Yuki by 𝕬𝕤𝕤𝕚. This is the very first attack and quite ambitious one indeed. I decided to make a tweening animation because there is something so melancholic about her backstory. The color palette also amazes me. The Japanese traditional clothing as well as the look of the character is filled with deep emotion. I chose the character of the mesmerizing factor of them, so I drawn separate parts of the hair to individually move them for the animation. The lighting is riddled into the front as if she looks down upon something imbued with magic. Then the backgrounds glow into red lights along with her crimson eyes embedded in the darkness. So I submitted it as a mini animation, but turns out I did not know Artfight has a limit to those submissions. The video is compressed, but I went with it anyways. Here's her in all her undoubted beauty. Next is Rosa by 𝕬𝕤𝕤𝕚. I definitely was connected to the vibes of this character. She has so much pastels, pearls, and flowers. Just the definition of feminine prowess. I freeformed this exact pose. Usually I draw with references for posing, but there's something so fantastical that I decided to create something in my head. I think I got a little carried away with the dress, so I minimized the volume of its floating. That was too much wind. One of the references, she is supposed to have those ribbons on her buns, but I went with the initial one despite trying it. The character herself has the elegance and love the overall ensemble. Her pose is carefree and youthful. It is lovely, in fact. Next one is Vincent by 𝕬𝕤𝕤𝕚. It caught my eye on one particular accessory. The character in question is an emperor, and I am more so fixated on their head accessories, particularly their veil and the crown, with the latter having the most details as possible. It was indeed a challenge, yet I had so much fun rendering both of those accessories on a whim. Grand, powerful, and mysterious are what I would describe him. He has the sort of aura unmatched with the royalty aspect. I did just brush up some stars with detail brushes on the background, and to that outcome is complete. His look is so astrologically handsome. Next one is Lazarus by 𝕬𝕐𝕠. This is my first illustration, and I have to say I am quite fond of this. I definitely got drawn to the aesthetics of the character. They are this unicorn/satyr creature. The color palette in particular is monochromatic, plus the look of the character is quite mesmerizing. One of the references have the pose of him hugging legs sitting down. He is very shy. The lighting also reminds me of a pale moonlight, so I put the character into a nature setting and moonlight shining above them while the leaves enclose him. Aesthetically, the moon is a symbol from which I really gravitated towards too, and I wanted to make a nighttime scene. I think perspective is what I struggle the most, especially with the pose. All that changed until the end result is formed and the character looks so fitting into the scene. One of my favorites perhaps. The next one is Methuselah by Rosenkreutz. He has a very interesting design. He is this deity with some interesting powers and charisma. I found one of the references of him in this gorgeous ensemble, which is sort of a combination of a reaper and a goddess. The off-white is also resonating a wedding dress along with the amount of dark red flowers surrounding their stature. I formed a pose that presents power and prestige due to their confidence and charming personality. The number of fabrics is elegant together in their outfit with the contrast of the variety of flowers, and I think those are supposed to be thorns, which were the most intricate segment. The captivating part of the character is their head accessory, the pink strips with eyes. Overall, the character is such an interesting design, and I wonder how they interact with their universe. It was too late, but I realized I forgot to put the paper texture on him, yet it was uploaded anyway. Next one is Han and Lee by 𝕊𝕬𝕤𝕚𝕚. Now it's gay o'clock, and here we go. My very first, I would say, double special with these two characters on the same canvas. They are a couple and on the bed, and the other one is still asleep. Oh, and it is animated as well, so more complexities for that. These characters are simple in design, yet I am still new to anthropomorphic characters, which this is a fresh practice to engraven. The simple black and white color scheme, especially with the couple, is a striking element of the piece. I even have to render much of the fur and the hair as well. They are super cute and romantic together, and I just love it. For the animation, I made the character twitch his ear and his partner noticing it. It is sort of like a slice of life scene come into life in a way. The little things are the sense of happiness. Next is Rosalie by Kunoki. This character is akin to the perspective illustration. I did another illustration with the character of elegance tags. They are indeed stylish with the plumage hat and the aristocratic coat with the frilly tie. Low-key, I really want to wear her outfit, so maybe that was my deciding factor to pick her. I placed the character once again in a night setting, sort of pointing a gun to the target as if she just busts down the indoor and surprise attacks. I gave her this demeanor as like a sense of danger within a huntress perhaps. The fuchsia colors really drives the essence of drama. I put some rose petals as a final touch and we get the outcome. What I like about this one is the Dutch angle, perspective, as well as character personality showcase. She is like bloodthirsty. Next is The Butler or Sir Greaves by Frid the Wiz. He is a ghost butler and that's it. To be honest about this piece, this might be my least favorite of the bunch so far. I'm so sorry for the Wiz, but I think I did not do your character justice in my style. Maybe the constraints of my art being more into pseudo-realism led me to not capture the character in immersive format. Yet as a silver lining, I get to leave my comfort zone and try something new to experiment. So they served some tea. It was supposed to be a glass of wine and some grapes. The tea is much more comforting as this really goes in with the vibes. The transparency really helps the full-on character design, especially the ghost tail. It looks so cool. Anyways, here is the final result, and despite my previous nitpicks, it still looks great. The next one is Shikyo, Cypress, and Helki by Plastic Satan. Okay, so this is where we get into the animated category. I have been invested into these characters, and I love the trope so much where the creepiest designs are somewhat adorable and friendly. So that is why I named this whole animation creepy but somewhat approachable. One funny moment is that I sent this animation to my friends at 12 a.m. because I am indeed desensitized. They were obviously terrified, but yeah, I love these characters and their lore. One is a ghostly man who likes to spook people and reminiscent to an Onryo or Yurei. So I made the character creep up by sliding the door The next one is sort of a forest dog creature. I made him hold up 4 of his hands to create a heart shape, symbolizing a loving despite the eyes staring into your soul. And the last one is a giant great creature with cat-like behavior. I do not know what to do, so I made them stare into the viewer. I cannot believe I made all of these in one evening. I have a bizarre behavior to complete a task. This next one is Celine Sorcière by Cosmic Yob. Their character has an iconic look, so I made another portrait. I definitely love her vibes tremendously. The epitome of a moonchild. My goal is to capture the essence via her makeup and her accessories glimmering in the night. I made many outdoor nightly backgrounds, so I set her into indoors, probably a nightclub or bedroom. I found a reference of a single light source flashing, a face full of shadow. I tried to recreate it for her demeanor as well, highlight the key areas of her design. The whimsical look to the side adds to the area of mystique and style. I was just playing with lighting in a night setting and shadow for this particular piece. It turned out fantastic. She feels so celestial in her mind right now. Next one is Guy by 𝕊𝕐𝕐𝕐. I chose their design as another challenge via full body illustration. I do not know what it's called, yet I have not made a character who is partly metal yet. He is a mecha creature hybrid and the color scheme is alluring. In this case, I separated the full body from the tail part based on the free-formed pose. I kind of loved the motion moment of the character and seeing him looking past to the side. Based on the character's lore, most of their parts got taken out, and so I wanted to evoke a wandering look and how he processed his inner thoughts. It is cool looking and mostly the rendering is simple enough to finish it eagerly. A nice simple refresher on the way. Next one is Marcel by Jamie Jimmy. Yet another illustration, but unfortunately it was too late before I started the initial recording. With that being said, I absolutely love the character rendered into the art. Their design and vibes reminds me a lot of The Little Prince, which I had seen the movie and read a little about the book. He is ethereal and angel-like that I wanted to place him falling from the sky. I have not drawn sky backgrounds in a while, and when I saw this one reference image, I am intrigued. The color scheme of dusk is a lovely view, especially in an open barren area like the desert. The figure is falling with joy in his eyes and feathers falling from the winged ears. I casted so much shadow and brightened up the gold details on his ensemble. The highlight for me is definitely the background, but overall the piece is stunning to work with. And the character, I love it. It's so one of my favorites. Next one is Cade by 𝕊𝕤𝕤𝕚𝕤. This was supposed to be my first revenge, but the system glitched when I uploaded it for some reason. They attacked me first and I wanted to return with their OC, so I chose a simple yet charming fella and make a portrait animation. I wanted him to laugh as a reaction. How I drawn him was quite a blend of both lineless and lined style. Usually I go by lined, but for some reason I decided to engage on a different format. Maybe my thought process was to separate layers easily, and so I did it with minimal effort as well. The background is mainly a part of a house and he is talking to someone off screen as well. I can clearly see his own personality with that giggle. It is so cute. So yes, thank you 𝕊𝕤𝕤𝕚 for attacking initially. Let me rephrase that. Thank you for the art. Next is Sokanon or Savannah by 𝕊𝕤𝕤𝕚 Artistry. It is another portrait which I absolutely loved rendering. I chose the character who is native, and the reason is I love her hair. Their design is so earthly and cultural, and the hair is the absolute highlight for me. I wanted the character to feel the breeze of the outdoors in the forest lighting. So she is looking into the sky with optimism and radiance emanating into the beauty of nature, of her and itself. I know she is a healer, and in color theory, the greener the surroundings, the better. I love rendering her accessories, such as her necklace and earrings. Adding the glow dodge effect to them was the cherry on top to the already gorgeous character. I am proud of this one actually, the hair rendering, her joy, and the intricate details found across her design. Next one is 𝕊𝕐𝕠 by Sleepy Dawn. They have so many fantastical characters in catalog, but I settled for the owl humanoid hybrid. I love their design, and since we are on a nature spree, we are going to go for it. For the posing, I struggled to find one befitting for a character in flight, and I may be scared to enlarge an already fixed canvas for the character. In short, I freeformed another pose and drew the character in a shy yet friendly manner. It is weird to see cramping them into one set illustration, but that's been done. I had a lot of time and I struggle with mostly the wings and feathers. The rendering was put into favor to grant the character some texture. The end result was fascinating, yet I might say the legs are a little bit awkward. Still, I appreciate the concept and drawing them as well. Next is Luios and 𝕊𝕠𝕗𝕠 by 𝕊𝕠𝕗𝕠. It is an illustration featuring two characters, a father figure and the child. I have some funny things to say about this piece in terms of reacting to it. At first, I thought this is a simple father and son duo, so it shows a reference of them talking to each other. It was super sweet, cute and simple. My friend, I showed her the interesting lore. I did not know they were a part of a cult. The message of this piece completely changes when I started to realize what the lore adds to the conversation. Composition-wise, I love the setting. It took the longest out of the elements. I made another mistake into the rendering and layer organization. There was supposed to have more shadows onto the floor, yet it was too late. I uploaded it already. The stained glass window is what I am proud of, and the piece is wholesome if you do not think about the lore too much. Next one is Odette by Catgut. It is a rendered piece, which I absolutely loved the design. The process was to find a floating type of pose. It seems fitting for her. I had some indecisive hindrances, but I settled for this floating reference filled with elegance, power, and prestige. Adjusted her head a bit to be visible in the body language. Maybe I also had some troubles in the proportions, especially in the leg part. There is a lot of fixer-uppers upon this piece in particular. What I loved is the rendering of her sleeves and drawing her clothing floating into the space around her. She also has some interesting accessories such as her headgear and cape. Separated these into the back. Love the colors, posing, and personality radiating throughout. There is a lot of glowing purple onto her teardrop-shaped elements. She looks like she knows how to manifest her powers. Proceeding to 𝕬𝕬𝕤𝕚 by 𝕬𝕗𝕠. Another simple one to offset the grandness of the previous artwork. I especially love the character's personality and confidence in particular. I found a perfect pose just for him in Pinterest. It suits him just fine. For his design, he has a sort of pseudo-general fit going on with some diamond teal embellishments added. His braid going down, and I feel like I am getting a hang on rendering hairstyles. The boots I adore, and the color scheme is contextualized onto the fit. I can see his confidence and charisma in a mile away, and I love how I did the expression on the face. Devious yet silly is what I would describe him. Proceed to Orion and Syra from Roxy Draws 21. This is two of my friends' OCs. I have already discovered them way back since college. I cannot believe I have graduated. Moving on, one of the characters she said is ginormous, so I took it to literal in a sense that they maximize the whole illustration. It was a good technique since I based everything off of them. I placed the jellyfish fella patting their pet who has a big smile on their face. The anglerfish antenna also glows an interesting lighting, almost sort of Van Gogh Starry Nights. Glow Dodge is my beloved, which I made use majority throughout this artwork. The whole piece screams as a scene from a movie. This is probably the most cinematic I had come so far in the challenge. I have the composition and lighting equally to showcase the two precious besties. Next is Xavier Rosenheim from Lethal. Yet another revenge. Thank you for the initial attack. I chose the spirit character who has passed in an unknown circumstance. I chose the portrait option in order to capture the expression clearly on what happened to the character. He is staring onto the camera deadpan. The bandages on his face are interesting, and I would like to know how he went to his fate. Set up into a night outdoor scene again, probably a shot near a graveyard. The night lighting is where I experimented to make him corporeal into the eyes of the watcher. Feels a bit hallucinogenic when you see him of his ghostly appearance. With the layering effect, it is a spooky image and look for sure. Next is Horen from Sorry for Party Rocking. I love that username. I did my second friendly fire illustration to capture the half body of this lovely woman. She is a music teacher who is also a serial killer. So that's that. I may have a eureka moment when I saw her button eyes. I was reminded of that one scene from Coraline where she kicked the other mother in the face. I tried to redo that scene but placed her in a neon light setting. Maybe looking for a kill. Started off with the head and went to shape her whole structure. She is opening a part of the hiding spot or a compartment, smiling at her next victim. Unsettling and terrifying of a situation, yet vibrant and unhinged. Perfect for a mascot killer vibes. The setting helps unsettling the uneasiness fraction of the artwork. Next is Mirabelle by Fiona. I did a portrait of this lovely mother in disco tags. I was listening to Confessions 2 and browsed some pics, which I loved from the original Confessions on a Dance Floor by Madonna. Those happened during the making of this artwork. Chose the certain reference picture and basically heavily inspired the character within this shot. I love how disco lights just glimmer onto the dark room, and she is just stunning by the very end. Aside from the lights, I managed to observe some reflective material on her design. She has some glittery texture to her clothing, makeup, and accessories, and exude the shine to brighten up the bits of the art. Was done purely by fanatic of Madonna's new album, and I got to say she blends into the groove of the disco scene. A dance floor darling mother. Next up is Moy Valentine by 𝕊𝕐𝕐𝕚𝕐𝕚. I made another illustration established with different directions. On my mind, I was planning for a mass attack on different characters from different users. That idea was scrapped immediately to save my dying energy, but I left the vastness of the background. In terms of scaling, the artwork is 70% background, 30% character. After rendering her in her gorgeous gown and hair whilst lounging, the creation of the background ensues. She's placed in the indoor palace garden with a large body of water cut off from the view. Then there is this ethereal glowing sky on the balcony section to give a sense of grandeur. There are many variations of shrubs and flowers, and the last asset is the flowing curtain. The outcome is a dreamy landscape befitting for a princess in the center of her state of serenity. The next character is La Rosa by Cherry Flash. This is the time where I should have stated to prioritize revenge because I love them so much. They have so many characters, in particular World of Warcraft OCs. Obviously, I picked an elf character because they are my favorite, and I miss creating stuff on Warcraft 3. I went full dynamic on the posing, freeformed and all, which surprised me. I believe the stance is badass, unintentionally resonating to landing her feet or getting up stylishly. Either way, she is confident and ready at arms. What I love about the character is her tattoos. They are so vibrant in the greenest of backgrounds. She is in a forest, and the vibrant tattoos help expand on her silhouette with an otherwise monochromatic palette. With those remarks, the result is formed. The posing is the star of the show. Proceeding to Sophia Kiyose and Kimiko Inaki by Crystal I Don't Know. It is another friendly fire set forth for illustration with two characters interacting. One is a shrine keeper sought to have the ability of recognizing fox spirits. In the details, she is annoyed for the character on her right, clearly knowing for what she is. A playful interaction with expressions between the two individuals. There is a visual symbolism of the bench, separating both of them in a literal and subtle sense. Their attitudes are opposite and contrast to the beautiful scenery behind them. It is the vibrancy of the sky, with mountains and nature in the distance. The cherry tree on the right with falling petals makes the vibes anime in some places. I know I was starting to be severely drained into this segment, as you may see in the rendering, but we pushed through. In the end, I loved the artwork. Proceeding to Wolf by Ed E. Thank you for the initial attack and the first full body revenge. Another challenge for me because I do not draw furry or anthropomorphic characters in a whim. I searched references for wolf skull for the lack of knowledge of animal anatomy. The character is cool looking, and maybe I did have an easier understanding for when I had drawn my OC Jack. I have a full-on motion comic on my channel if you want to check it out, but they are very similar in design. I done so many werewolf references in my sketchbook and eloquently based it off by muscle memory. What stood out to me is the pink wrappings or bandages. Initially they were lined, but I went full on with rendering instead. Many ways to get the practice and use tools to elevate each piece. Next is Elio and Luca by Ray Nikki. They have two adorable OCs, which I believe was on a project they are working on. I decided to bypass the law and ruin the portrait constraints. Usually, I only do head and bust-up shots in this format. This one, I made an exception, and some ones proceeding in the latter half. Oh, maybe I already did that on 𝕊𝕐𝕗𝕚𝕤𝕚 piece, but anyways, I actually made an entire scene and found an image on Pinterest. There is this couple shot of leaning back against each other. It was so cute, I had to do it to them. Perspective-wise, it was showing my signs of imminent burnout. It is not the strongest, however, the feeling is the important message under the piece. The challenges are where I gone to rendering and details of each individual's outfits, particularly the hair, the frills, and the clasps on the bodice. It was too much at this point of my energy dropping. Other than those, the final piece is cute, wholesome, and another nature calming aura. Next one is Nikolai from, I believe it's pronounced Zachariah. I do not know why. Maybe this character is what replenishes my will to go lock in. He is a ringed octopus hybrid, and his accessories are absolutely stunning. I was going out of my comfort zone in terms of composition. Originally, I wanted the character to be turned back into a watery landscape, yet a new idea is formed. What if he's floating and half of the body is visible in the surface, similar to the Ophelia painting? Not going to lie, I could see Taylor's new album cover, which I unexpectedly dislike. Anyways, the rendering is the star of the show, and I am quite fond of it. I struggled a bit with the layering of the parts, which has to be submerged. The techniques of illusion saved it at least. I added some golden leaves, I would say, which was the most random thing on this piece. Other than that, he has so much tension with that stare. One of my favorites for sure, and my last illustration piece. Next are Kira Michael and Maria from Prickly Gym. They only have two OCs interacting with each other, so why not I just put them together in one portrait. I have been loving breaking the portrait format of a close-up. Fitting in two characters just makes so much sense with this space. I made another religiously themed one, and they turn out scenic and passive in tone. Here I wanted to do a praying pose while he's looming over the background staring onto the other side, especially when you know which stages of life they are in. One being deceased, you can sneak in the little message on the prayer. The background is the highlight for me, and the glowing effect added. The slight cross symbol on the center of the stained glass window I love. There's something atmospheric emphasizing the artwork. The contrast between the colors of their clothing also ties to their differences. A nice piece and final portrait. Proceeding to Scarla Bettington by Pinguini. This is my final full body piece, and I love the design of the character so much. Honestly, I have not done any older characters yet, so this one was a surprise for me. The details of her face especially, I took the time in order to present her features boldly. Her stature is prismatic with grandeur and beauty. The cards on her two-tone dress are gorgeous. The prosthetic porcelain limbs are what stood out to me in the design. I was contemplating on what I should do on her red details, but I decided to freehand it. In the reference, they are much more complex, and I hope I did capture them in simplified forms. The cane is an accessory which befits the pose. I found the perfect pose actually for her. And with that, she is done and maybe ready to gamble. Okay, we are finally here, the very last one. We have Aki and Jan from Forzonk. This is the 31st piece of this art gifting event to pay ode to the start of the month. I made sure to end with another animation. The characters are a couple staring at each other while sunlight glows onto them. The power of the gaze are what brings me contentment always. Technique-wise, I did similar to 𝕊𝕤𝕤𝕚𝕤, separating components of the character in order to move those parts easily. The characters' expressions with their blinking I took time with. Overlapping pieces seems a trouble at times, yet I kind of got around it. In the end, they look so cute together. I may have missed some few details, like the other guy having some snake scales. The background as well is just an afterthought. Honestly, this piece is just amazing and lovely, regardless. I cannot believe I made this and the previous one at the same time frame. That is for the conclusion of my 2026 Artfight first experience. And I got to say I heavily enjoyed this whole creative boom once in a while, especially from all Gen AI slop I encountered on the internet. This is sort of my mantra to keep my creativity at bay. With that being said, check out all my artworks in full on the description as well as my Artfight account. You can also check my defenses if you want to see more artists who have many adorable and distinctive styles. Same time next year. Thank you for watching this long video. Feel free to like and subscribe for more, and have a fun and creative day.